Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. Today we are reacting to a video of Candace. Owens destroys male feminist. Male feminist. That sounds like a huge red flag, but let's get into the video. But before that, kindly like and subscribe to the channel. We are growing, as I said. I want to change my style of making videos from wearing this hat and my AirPod Max to wearing something else. I'm going to surprise you guys, but I want to upload about 30 to 50 videos first, and then I'll change my style. But like, kindly stick to the channel. But let's get into the video.
My question is just, I looked at some data while you were speaking about the gender pay gap in the UK and the US. So apparently it's 17% in the UK and 19% in the US.
No, it's not.
And it's WEF data, so I just looked at that right now. So maybe World Economic from in 2015,
right?
In percentage.
Happy to talk about this.
By the way, Candace, Owens looks very young here, so I feel like I think this video is an old video.
Yeah, this
so
is like,
my question is basically, what do you think are the causes of this?
It doesn't exist.
Well, there is a cause for it. I'll tell you what it is.
And do you think there should be public measures to tackle it? And the causes and the public
Fair
reaction.
question. I get it all the time because obviously I'm like the anti-feminist. So people are always like, how can you deny the gender, the wage gap? Okay. So when I went to university, all of the girls that I was friends with were majoring in fashion and textiles and merchandising. And they all went off to intern at Vogue. And pick out Prada bags that maybe Kate Moss would wear on the cover of something. The average pay for that, if you want to be in fashion when you get out of school, is $20,000. Men were majoring in business and engineering and things that when you get out of school, you get paid more. If our interests, if we're going to go in and we're not going to be taking serious.
Thinking of this submission, yeah, that was really true because look, until recently, look, even when I was in school in university in Ghana, like now there's affirmative action in universities in Ghana, so like there are a lot of female students in even the business school because I was in the business school, and like you have more female like or ladies or yeah, female in other less competitive STEM or not in STEM, basically. STEM, like not in STEM. And these fields like fashion, this makeup, this sorry, cosmetology, this acting, this drama club, like those industries don't really make a lot of money. And like you have one in out of like 100 making a lot of money. And this really affects the wage gap in the country. And don't get me wrong, like women or ladies who enter STEM according to research, most of them do much better than men. Like they are more competitive in those fields, but like the men, like basically you are in the men's world, so most of them do well. So they're able to out earn men in that field. But on a larger scale, because more men are in STEM than women, so like this wage gap is yes, it's not going to close anytime soon because still women don't find STEM as an attractive field. They find it easy to do this fashion and entertainment because it has to do with dealing with celebrities and all. Women fancy those more than men because yeah, that's my take on this.
Majors, and we're shocked when we find out the world doesn't need more people to pick out Prada bags for Kate Moss's shoot. I mean, that's not a gender wage gap, that's an interest gap, right? And that's what's happening. Also, women, we have different interests. Women aspire to get married, they aspire to have children, they leave the workforce earlier. Every single one of my girlfriends,
I don't know if it's still true that women leave the workforce earlier. I don't think it's still true though, but like women might, especially if they feel like the child is taking a toll on their work career, they might, but it also depends on if the child has a father as well.
What I'm saying is that a person that is a brain surgeon should not get paid the same amount as a person that wants to pick out Prada bags for the rest of her life. I mean, this is what's going on in America. When you look at the wage gap, they're not telling you what the jobs actually are and what women are going into.
Yeah, usually wage gaps, it doesn't come with explanation of what jobs the women are doing, but like most of them are outside of STEM, and outside of STEM means like less money, like don't get it twisted, less money.
In terms of their majors in university. When you're taking feminist dance class 101, you're not going to make six figures when you go out of university. That's just the truth. And women, if there was a real feminist women movement, would talk about that, would say, hey, if you want to make as much as men, maybe we should be majoring in engineering and things like that, but we don't because we have different interests, which is fine. But you then can't complain and think that we should now have a society that forces, what are we going to do? Are we going to have like a government that says now we have to pay women that want to go into fashion six figures to make them feel good and like they're doing things that are productive in society? Like that's not a practical solution. If we want to get serious, if women want to make more than men, they do. It's actually been proven statistically in America that when they go into the same majors and take on the same jobs, women get paid more than men.
Yeah, just like I said, women get paid more than men when they enter this STEM field, either because they do much well or I don't know. But I know most of that I've said the stats say that what they actually do, they are more competitive than the men in those fields.
And in those particular fields.
So for Google, for example, I'm going to comment on this in a variety of different ways. Google, for example, did a pay equity audit 2 weeks ago.
That was last week.
And Google said we must go after gender-based wage discrimination. Turns out that men were being significantly underpaid at Google, so they dished out $9 million in bonuses to men at Google because women are being overpaid. A couple things. First of all, if you just lazily, as some of the studies that you referenced, not you're being lazy, but the studies are lazy, extrapolate all the women and all the men at a certain age and don't take into account how long they've been in a job, what they studied, their experience prior, the gender wage gap in the States does exist. But if you take in women that study the same stuff as men and are in the workforce at the same time as men, they actually earn 106 cents of the dollar more, meaning 6 cents more than a man does in the States. Candace made a brilliant point. In the States, if you look at the 5 majors that are the highest performing majors and the 5 majors that are 5 lowest performing majors. So roughly the 5 highest performing majors in the United States of America: petroleum engineering, business, finance, things of that nature. They're 80 to 90% more or less dominated by men. There's only one major that are dominated by women, a single out of the 5. If you look at the 5 worst performing, pre-K education, things of that nature, elementary school education, almost 80 to 90% dominated by women because they naturally will make different choices because they're biologically
We're
set
just
up
biologically different. Our interests are different.
Really quick, women are also.
Can I just go back on that? Because I find it's a very interesting point you're making, the interest and the biologically.
Yeah, it's backed up by a Cambridge study.
Could you just elaborate on this? Because I would tend to disagree about the biologically part of the. For instance, women. You say the gender gap doesn't exist, and that women would be more inclined to do a fashion degree rather than a business degree.
And women and men are different. Yes.
I'm going to say something that you probably hate, an expression you hate, but social construct.
We have evidence of this, though. Look at the Scandinavian countries. They tried to get rid of this. They actually allowed teenagers to choose which do you want to get into STEM fields or not, and the data actually showed that women naturally wanted to go towards, when they tried to make the society totally equitable and they try to get rid of these gender roles, women still, because of the biological predisposition towards nurturing, women...
We naturally want to nurture.
They go to nursing.
There are definitely studies against that nurturing part. Women are not more inclined to be nurturing.
What is this guy talking about, man? Which woman is not inclined to nurture? Women love babies. Women like cats. Women love this. Like, women love to nurture. Like in Africa and Ghana, 99% of nurses or 90% of nurses are women. Why do you think that is so? And nurses, it's not like nurses make that much of a like in the private sector, yes, they do, but like nurses don't make as much as people in STEM, successful people in STEM. So what is he talking about, man? Women really love to nurture because they feel like that is a place they can easily thrive. They feel like that's a place they can easily thrive.
110% we are. 110.
Sweden is the example of it. You're just wrong.
It's just true. It's just true.
But based on what? What studies? Is it true based on what?
There was a study done by Cambridge scientists that demonstrated that men naturally revert to environments that require more structure, such as politics and the professions that he mentioned.
Business and
women naturally revert to professions such as teaching, which require more empathy and emotion. This is just a natural thing. It's important not to. It's important not to say that women should be forced into those roles, but you do have to accept that
we naturally
that
do.
We naturally revert to them.
It's just true. I'm just telling you, like, even if you said, I'm telling you, every single woman that I went to university with versus every single man, there's just a difference in terms of the majors that we're picking, and we're not forced to pick certain majors. We just aren't forced to. So what you're seeing is the result of people picking their different interests, right? And unfortunately, the other part of your question was, should we do something in society to even it out? We don't have to do anything in society to even it out.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Do you think there's a biological difference between a man and a woman?
I do believe indeed there's a biological difference between man and woman, but when it comes to interests, I do more believe that.
So let me ask you a follow-up. Don't mean to, interrupt rudely, but if we have biological differences, do I have more adrenaline? Do I have more testosterone than she does?
I think yes, indeed.
Do you think that testosterone could drive you to do different interests and things?
Well, I could indeed do believe that. The thing is,
so maybe a man might be more likely to be a weightlifter, serve in the army, be a police officer, a firefighter, and a woman who has more estrogen might want to be a nurturer, a preschool teacher. Do you see how biology?
I have another question. Do you think it's desirable for the society, this kind of?
Of course.
I love it. Yeah.
I feel like with where this question is heading, I don't think Candace Owens is actually destroying this guy. I don't think so. I just feel like this guy came into the question scene to kind of prove them wrong, to kind of show them that he knows much better, or he has a better philosophy or conclusion to this than they do. And I feel like this is a wrong way to go about such an event because, look, you want to pick the minds of these people. They are on a panel because they may be successful, more successful than you. They may be more educated than you. So maybe going into such thing, you need to go there and seek clarity on stuff rather than going there to challenge their thoughts because they are sitting there not because they are dumb people.
Absolutely.
I love the yin and the yang. I think men and women are symbiotic. It's beautiful. It's biblical, and it's something that we should stop trying to actively work to force and destroy. At a certain point, I love it. And I did a podcast. I was interviewing John Voight, who you guys might know. He's Angelina Jolie's father, and he was talking about this like biblical, beautiful thing that our society is currently trying to destroy. And he said the thing that I see over and over again in my life, and it's nice because he's 80 years old now, so they have that wisdom when they get old. And he said women just know what to do when they have children. He's like, they just know. It's so innate. When you see a woman with a child, it's just the most beautiful thing. He goes, you get men around there, they don't know what they're doing, and every single one of
Yeah, that is so true, bro. That is so true. Like women really don't need coaching or taking care of their own children. That is so, so true. Like, I'm just wondering how I'm going to handle my children when they come because I feel like I'm going to direct them to their mom anytime they are crying, man. Unless they are doing some dumb shit, but like I don't think I would know how to treat them, but like I'll still learn.
of my girlfriends that now has children says the same thing, that it's easier when the man just leaves the house because it's like they have another child, right? And that's beautiful, right? And feminists make it think that there's something wrong with that, like he make him do this and do that, and it's like, yes, there are certain things that we innately know how to do, and when I see a child I instantly know how to take care of them. That's just something that's innate and it's biological, and maybe I don't have the data and the facts to describe to you that I can prove that this is a thing, but it just is a thing, and I don't know why society wants to destroy that or force it in a different way and make men the people that are innate and know what to do when they see children. There's something really beautiful and spiritual about that should never be disrupted.
Guys, I want to end the video here, but I feel like, the gender pay gap is real, but it's not because men are forcing it on women. Why would men want to force such a thing on women? Like, we need to put measures in place to make sure that it is closed but like you can't force people into fields they don't want to. Or do they now want men to go into these fashion things? Because if men also go there, we do quite as well. Like nobody could even mention a female chef, even though cooking is something that we know is for women. Like a lot of people don't know famous fashion designers, but most people know Virgil Abloh and your Kanye and your ASAP Rockies and all those. Like we also do well in their field, but like you can't tell people to change their interests because of gender pay gaps. Like, why is that the case? But yeah, guys, catch you in the next video and thanks for watching.